Hello, it's Rebecca, and you're watching Syrian Sage for a tarot reading. Today's reading is for Z. Thank you for signing up for a video reading, and thank you also for offering me permission to post your reading to my channel publicly. This reading is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. If you appreciate what I do, please let me know by liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already. The question for today's reading is, why do I feel stuck in my current romantic relationship? Let's get into it. Just going to focus in on my client here. And the question is, why do I feel stuck in my current romantic relationship? Okay, so let's shuffle. The first card we're going to read for is going to be just the overall situation of answering why the stuckness is there. Oh, this one wants to come out. This is the Five of Swords. I think the stuckness is probably due to a schism of some kind, or like a conflict where maybe one person wants to walk away and the other person doesn't. This is like a disagreement about um, which idea is the best idea, but it's not just a conflict over, who's going to be the leader. That would be more like, I think, the Five of Wands, but the Five of Swords, this is people leaving the group. And this is like an irreconcilable difference. So the stuckness might be because you can't just agree to disagree about things. Like this is, I don't know if you're dealing with that kind of situation or not, but that might explain the feeling of stuckness is like you just can't come together. That's how I would read that as a situation card. Let's see what would be the guidance or the advice. We're going to pull a whole bunch of cards and see what we can get out of them, and then we'll pull clarifiers. So the guidance or the advice, what's the path forward from here? This is the Wounded Warrior Nine of Wands card. This is someone who has faced a long, arduous battle. This is also putting up walls around yourself and trying to protect yourself. This is not giving up though. This is definitely perseverance. This is keep pushing forward because you will get through this. You're not ready to lay down your burden yet. You're not fully done. Um, but you also would need to lean on this support to help you. And that support is going to look like something that brings you passion. Something that brings you passion will help you to climb the rest of the mountain before this situation is resolved. We can also see like this person is standing still, they're not walking, and they're looking to the left, they're looking to their past. We can also see that here with this figure. This person is looking to the left, but also it looks like he's kind of looking into the distance, into the background, and almost looking behind him. This may show an energy of like there's a lot of energy focused on the past right now and not being fully in the present where you are right now. But both figures here, they're not walking, they appear to be standing still. So for the moment, it looks like that is the situation of stuckness, is that you don't know which way to go from here. So let's clarify like what would be the guidance for the guidance of like perseverance doesn't give us a whole lot of detail, but how should Z go about persevering? That's my next question. And this one comes out. The Two of Cups. This is trust. Oh, this one just popped out as I was laying that one down. This is the Ten of Pentacles. So the Two of Cups has to do with trust and emotional intimacy and emotional union. So like this could be, maybe talk to your best friend or maybe try to rekindle your romance, but rekindle the trust and make it an emotional connection. Like again, like this kind of a card, that's a divinely ordained kind of a love here. but it's not just romance love. It's like love as a verb. Love is a doing word. It's what you do for the person that you care about. It's not just about feeling connection or feeling romantic love towards someone, but about real emotional intimacy and trust. And so, one way that maybe you would consider doing this is changing your money situation. This is an old man sitting here with dogs and family and young children, like grandchildren, and he's about to like pass on his wealth to his family. And it's almost like he's just sitting around waiting on it. If I were going to say like, how are you going to persevere? Like maybe see if you can ask somebody for some financial help, or maybe you restore this through like go to an ATM and get your loved one just some cash and just hand it to them. That works for that works for some relationships. Just like if maybe somebody's thinking like, "Well, do you really love me? Okay, show me. Show me the money." And it could be something like that where maybe reestablish trust with a gift of some kind, or like a promise of an inheritance. So again, like with the cards, because I don't know your situation from like you sitting right in front of me, and I can't get feedback from you about like I don't know how accurate this may be for you personally. I think that you are going to be the best judge of how these two will come together in your situation. But this is the part that's going to help you persevere. It's probably you need to ask someone to provide you some resources so that way you can take somebody on a nice date, or you're the one that has the money that you want to give that to the other person as a sign of trust. So that's one way that I would interpret something like that. Okay, so let's look at what is the challenge of this situation, because the situation we're looking at of stuckness, it's like a stuckness in conflict is what I'm seeing with the 5 of swords. This is like stormy weather in the background. That's like a lot of chaotic thinking it might have led to this, or like a disagreement that can't ever be reconciled. So what would be the next question is going to be about like what's the challenge of following the guidance, or what's the challenge about the situation? Oh, these three want to come out. So the challenge, I think, has to do with mental clarity as the Ace of Swords. Let me move these down here so you can see them. The challenge has to do with mental clarity over here. The challenge also has to do with the Empress, and this is like a very feminine, motherly type of an energy. Like this is like a figure of a seated pregnant woman, and she has the shield of Venus next to her. So this is Venus, Taurus, and then swords would be air. So like if we were going to make an astrological association with it, then the swords would be like all of the air signs in astrology. So Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, and then over here we have the Judgment card. We have the angel Gabriel is announcing a redemption of all of these people who have been risen from the dead. So the challenge is, how are you going to revive things? You need to have a new idea of how to do that. Maybe treat somebody like they are the world and they are the one that can bring about the world or give you the world. Um, and it may or may not relate to family, children sort of thing, but the challenge is, how do you redeem this kind of situation? You need to have a new idea about it. And I think that the idea is going to be best centered around this feminine, receptive type of energy that is good at growing things and multiplying things, and really lending that kind of greatness towards manifestation. So, how do you manifest things? You do them in a dark place, in a womb. When you plant things in the ground, they're planted in the dark. When you have a great plan, you don't put the light of day all over it for somebody else to take a poo poo on your cool new idea, right? You keep it to yourself. And then over here, judgment, this is like, I want you to think about how you're going to use this new idea to completely redeem the situation. What needs to be revived? Did something have to be put aside, or like we thought that, we're never going to go back here and do this kind of thing again? Maybe that is now coming up. Maybe this has to do with the idea of like something that you thought was gone and would never come back to life. Now it has been redeemed and you have a chance to redeem that. But that's the challenge, is that you've got to come up with clarity about this. And this is a double-edged sword, like you're with the Ace of Swords. This crown on here can be a very heavy crown, or it can be as light as air. It just kind of depends. Are you on the light side of the sword, or are you on the dark side of the sword? What is the idea? Is it a dark idea, or is it a light idea? So think on that and meditate on that idea. The challenge is to come up with that idea. So, like, something that you can do is to ask to be divinely inspired, ask to be, redeemed from on high, whatever your concept of that may be. It doesn't have to be like a religious type of iconography that I'm making reference to. Like, that's just for you. Um, to ask for help from the highest source possible to help you redeem whatever the situation is. Okay, so let's look next at what is the unseen energy. I'm probably just going to lay the cards on top of these ones. The unseen energy is the Four of Swords. Now, the Four of Swords has to do with resting. This is like a respite, or like resting after a battle. This actually, this is like it looks like an effigy on a coffin, but I want you to think about the restorative healing that can happen after you have been through a heartbreak or a loss of some kind. Like, think about how you heal the mind. Maybe I think of this almost like this is a meditation card. If you don't meditate, or you don't know how to meditate, meditating is simply awareness. So allow yourself enough restful time that you can allow answers to come to you. And I'm kind of seeing this might be helping to answer where you're going to get this new idea from. I think that you will get it through meditating on that. The Four of Swords isn't totally a great card. It's more like resting after a sadness, taking like resting and healing after heartbreak. And it's like peace from war, or like peace after war. It's relaxation of the anxiety. So the unseen energy has to do with quietness and ease. So this one, I would say this is like rest from strife. That would be like my key phrase that I would give it. In general, it's not like a wonderful great card. But that is what is unseen. It's like a hermit's repose, or like a retreat. What do we have as the outcome? What is ultimately going to happen? And this one came out, the Lovers. Now, my friend, this is making a choice. This is also the card that represents Gemini, and it's a major arcana card. So, like, as with Judgment being major arcana, I see redemption in the Judgment card, but I also see a choice here. You're going to have to choose. The outcome has to do with choosing what is right for you, regardless of everything else that might be going on in the world. So, what does that mean to you? This is something that represents human love, overcoming trials, And when we look at the finer imagery of the art here, Adam is looking at Eve in this card, but Eve is looking at the angel. So reflect on that a little bit. We have human desire is affecting this figure right here. Excuse me. But we see Eve is like she's reflecting on spirit. So what does that mean to you when it comes to taking a choice? Are you going to follow your human instincts, or are you going to follow the message of spirit and go in that direction? So which direction do you want to take? That's going to be where your outcome comes in. So anyway, let's get into this with looking at what is the overall, why is the situation what it is? Why is there stuckness? Why are you dealing with this? Why? I want to say it's like the overall vibe check of the whole reading. We'll just see what we get. Okay, we got 2 cards that came out. We have the Hanged Man and the Wheel of Fortune. The Hanged Man has to do with sacrifice, but it's also awareness of what the outcome of that sacrifice is. This is like I think the Hanged Man illustrates someone who has gotten themselves into a bind, but getting into that bind has allowed for a greater awareness and knowledge. This is an understanding that only comes from going through that sacrifice or going through that trial. One of the keywords for the Hanged Man is trials and discernment. Your discernment, this is why there's like a halo of light. This is illumination and intuition. The Hanged Man understands what got him into the situation, and he doesn't look like he's suffering. Like this is a look at see if we can zoom in on that face. This doesn't look like someone in a state of mental anguish, but it looks more like understanding to me. So that's like, it's almost like saying it's not voluntary, it's an enforced sacrifice of some kind. Like, I get the sense of like, do you feel stuck because you felt like you had to be stuck? And also, like, you are the one here. The Wheel of Fortune is you are the one who is cranking the wheel. And by the way, like a lot of people, they don't know, but this red figure right here, this is Hermes. Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes Thrice Great, aka Thoth. This is Thoth right here, the keeper of all wisdom. And the keeper of all wisdom is spinning around this wheel right with you and keeping a record of everything in the heavens. That is also why you see these 4 figures here writing in the book of life. What you're doing right now is like a major, this is a major life-changing kind of happening. Both of these right here, these are both major arcana. So like it's going to affect you in a more profound way than what you might be able to see right now in this moment. So broad strokes, major life change kind of stuff. This is going to affect you in a forever kind of a way. That doesn't mean that the energy is going to be around forever, that things are always going to be in a certain way. But when you see major arcana, just think about how like you are traveling the hero's journey. You are on the path of the hero. You are the person living your life. You are the authority figure of your own life. You get to choose. Do you put yourself in this situation? Or do you crank the wheel to bring you about a different fortune? So I want to get a little bit more into the Wheel of Fortune. There is a letter, a Hebrew letter association with this card, which is the letter K or Kaf. It means palm of the hand. That's what that letter means. So palmists would probably point out that you can read your fortune in the palm of your hand. And, you know, Kaph is associated with Jupiter, and that just kind of underscores the whole thing. So, I think that this is like also the Wheel of Fortune. This is a very good card. This is like destiny, fortune, success, and elevation. So, I mean, ultimately, I think the reason why this is happening is because, like, this is the end goal is to be in control of your own destiny. But sometimes it's like we go through this at the same time. We go through an enforced sacrifice of some kind. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. I just want to say, I'm going to turn my camera around actually. If you would like to book a reading with me, I'll leave a link in the description. You can book a private one-on-one call or you can book a reading on video. And I will have a link to where you can book a video reading as well. If you are interested in learning more about the tarot, please visit my playlist called Keys to the Tarot. I created this virtual tarot deck and reference guide for everyone, and you can use this for your own reading just by hitting Shuffle Playlists. I offer a giveaway private reading every month, which you can sign up for, and I also have other freebies like downloadable zines. I also read the Akashic Records as a certified soul realignment practitioner. And if you're interested in learning more about that, you can also find it in the link in the description. And if you've made it all the way to the end of my video, thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a comment with your thoughts, and I will see you again soon. Bye.